Hi, this is Jonathan. How you guys doing? I'm just back from a short vacation in Taiwan and in Shanghai for a meeting in Shanghai. And I was back on Friday, so I had a good rest. And while I was in Taiwan, interesting thing happened. I chanced upon this nice little, quaint little music store in downtown Taipei. Called UD Music, and I chanced upon this pedal. So today I'm going to review this pedal. This is the Vemuram button machine, the Landau Distortion pedal. So I've been looking for this pedal for a long time, and apparently in Singapore, Davis Guitar carries this, but no stock. It just got sold out really fast. Same with Sweetie, no stock. And I thought, okay, maybe this pedal is not for me. But I am really interested in what this Landau distortion pedal sounds like. Some of you might know, some of you might not know the differences between the overdrive pedal and the distortion pedal. To my knowledge and my experience, the distortion pedal has a little bit more hair. In fact, quite a lot of hair in it when you are, playing full blown out. The overdrive pedal, on the other hand, has a softer circumference surrounding, meaning it doesn't hit you as hard as the distortion pedal does with its hairy nature. Is how I explain it. So on hindsight, I think I prefer overdrive pedals because they are a bit more pleasing to the ears than the distortion pedal. And I played through some of the distortion pedals out there from Boss, from Ibanez, the SD9s. Didn't quite like them because they're just too hairy for me. And I always lean towards the overdrive pedals like the Tube Screamer, and the other offerings from Ibanez and other stuff back in the days. These days, I like the overdrive pedals, or rather the overdrive sound from the overdriven amp. This is what I prefer. Distortion pedal is like a afterthought for me, right? And I wasn't really interested about it. But I happened to chance upon some of the videos by Vemuram featuring this Landau button machine, and I was like, wow, it sounds really good, and what we can do during music production and video production. So I was really interested in finding out how this pedal actually sounds like. So I went to this shop in Taipei, UD Music. Great guys, great bunch of guys. And they hooked me up with a Fender Deluxe. I think it's a Fender Deluxe amp, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, they hooked me up with a Strat, with this, nothing else. And I played it, and I just fell in love with it straight off. And even though the price is really high, Vemuram actually comes up with really pricey pedals. I decided to go for it and purchase this pedal from them. And I just kind of was really taken by the fact that I could do a lot of stuff with this pedal that I don't normally do with an overdrive pedal. Now, for me, when I'm playing an overdrive pedal, I don't actually deal a lot with the volume knob in my guitar, on my guitar, whichever guitar I'm playing. With this, I have this opportunity to kind of like sneak in and out between volume 6 or 7 or 8 to full blown, and I get different tonalities of it, and for that alone I'm sold. I'm going to take my money. I really like this pedal a lot. And the rest of the day spent in Taiwan as well as in Shanghai, I'm thinking about, wow, I'm just like reminiscing about the sound I got in the store. So today, I finally decided to give this a proper run through with my Fender Deluxe Tone Master, and I found it to be an incredible pedal. So there is a character to it that I don't actually find in a lot of overdrive pedals, including the good ones, including the expensive ones. This has a character of its own, right? It has the lows, nice low mids. It has the sparkle, the highs if you want. You can adjust it through the two knobs here, which we're going to talk about later. But it has that nice sound if you're not cranking it out if you don't crank it out all the way. It just has that nice overdrive sound, but with a touch of a hair coming out of it, which I totally enjoy. And if you go like full blown out with this drive or this gain switch or this gain knob, you're gonna have that, but it's still controlled because it depends on how much output are you putting into this pedal, hence the volume knob on your guitar. And I love that. I love that I can actually control this sound that I'm getting. Now the thing is, Michael Landau uses a lot of other pedals. I think his favorite pedal is the SD9, if I'm not mistaken. But he was looking for a high gain pedal for his pedal board, and henceforth the collaboration between Landau and Tri-Sound in Japan and they came out with this pedal. I'm glad they did, because this is such a nice pedal. So you're gonna have like a high gain pedal, a high gain overdrive distortion pedal, which I am looking for, because I was looking at the Soldano, the Steve Lukather Soldano pedal, but I'm glad I found this instead. And I think this gives me a little bit more option when I'm playing around with my volume knob on my guitar, so I can get a nice mix of quality sounds, sounds that don't fuzz out or anything like that. Now, one thing to note is that most of Michael Landau's guitar do not have a treble bleed in the circuit. Hence, the inclusion of this sparkle adjustment as well as a low mid adjustment, so that if you were to bring down that volume, when he brings down that volume to 8 or 7, you can still have enough sparkle for it to have a relatively clean, nice, warm sound. I adjusted my low mids to just a touch less than the default setting. I left the sparkle alone because I kind of like what I'm hearing, so I just left it alone. The tone knot helps a lot, because you can kind of like adjust the overall tonality of it, a little bit more brighter, a little more darker. Now, the gain knob in conjunction with the tone knob will more or less shape the sound that you are trying to get. Really nice. It's a nice, interesting pedal for me, because I can play around with how much input I'm going to put in and the tone that I'm getting. With all these options available, with the back adjustment as well as the front top adjustment. The enclosure of most Vemuram pedals are made of brass, so it's really, it weighs a little bit more than your normal pedal, but I like it because it's really sturdy. The pedal is really well made, Runs on a 9-volt battery, or rather a 9-volt power supply as well as battery. And very simple pedal to use, but it costs a bit. It costs a lot. In fact, I think this is one of the most expensive pedals I come across. In Singapore, I think this retails about, if I'm not mistaken, about $600 Sing. But you can probably get this secondhand or pre-owned and still get a good price for it. I highly recommend this pedal. I think this is a great pedal to have in any pedal board, in conjunction with your compressors and other overdrives, because you can have this as well as the overdrives. But right now, this is one of my favorite pedals right now. I think I'm going to be enjoying myself henceforth using a lot of this butter machine from Landau, from Vemuram, the Landau butter machine. I think it's a great thing for me to learn and find out new things. And for me, this pedal just changed my mind about distortion pedals. Love it. So let me know what you think about this pedal. If you own one, let me know what are your experiences. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Press the bell for notification of future videos to follow, and be part of Patrons to support this channel. I would appreciate it. I thank all my patrons for the wonderful love and support. Thank you so much, guys. So in the meantime, I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll see you real soon. Arrivederci.